Hello everyone, the base coat is now done on her, and oh, I can see that, not good. Oh, reason I say not good is right here, some water got on the paint, and see how it's discoloring things? I really don't want to mix up more paint for that. I'm just going to hope that dries well. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the end results of the pre-shading work. I see some other spots where the color's not even. I'm going to have to come in here and hit her with one more color coat, I'm afraid. It's not 100% dry yet either, but I'm pretty happy with the end results of this. So we're just going to touch her up a little bit once that water dries off there to remove the watermarks. There's a few spots here where the color's not even, back in here too, and we'll fix that. So one more round of color paint. But what I'm going to do right now is this spot right here is supposed to be orange, okay? And I think that's off camera. This spot right here is supposed to be orange. It's not off camera now. And I don't feel like doing an extensive masking job. So what I'm going to do, and I had it in hand a second ago, is use some Silly Putty. There it is. I'm using some Silly Putty. So what I'm going to do is pull some of the Silly Putty out of here. And it's so funny that I'm doing orange paint and I'm masking it with orange Silly Putty. I didn't even know I had orange Silly Putty until I opened this. I've done this with camouflage painting before. I'm just going to take my piece of Silly Putty and I'm going to get a nice flat straight edge with it. And I'm doing that off to the side, off camera, because that spray booth is pretty dirty, to say the least. This orange stuff doesn't behave like normal Silly Putty. It feels way more fluid than normal Silly Putty. And what I'm doing is I'm going to the edge of my desk. I'm just squishing it in the corner. Okay, that was a mistake, because now it don't want to come out of the corner. Yeah, this orange Silly Putty is not normal Silly Putty. Alright, I'll be back as soon as I get this worked out. Alright, I got her masked. I got the airbrush. I got my paint mixed. I just need to thin my paint for the airbrush. I don't need much of this orange, so I'm going for 3 or 4 drops of the orange and the thinner. I usually start with the paint first, thinner second, but this time around I'm starting with thinner first. Quicker cleanup. So I got my 4 drops of thinner. Four drops of paint. My handy paper towel, so I can check things. Airflow is on in the spray booth. My bamboo stirring stick. Get my paint mixed in right with my thinner. Alright. Airbrush in hand. Power to the compressor. And I've got probably more than enough paint in here. I've got 4 drops of paint in the color cup. There we go. And this doesn't have to be too subtle. Because, well, it doesn't. It won't take a bit to build up that orange color though. Because she's not working from a white base color, she's working from a blue base color. So she's not going to go very, very fast on the coloring, and I'm probably going to mix up more color orange paint. because I'm cycling through it, and about half my paint is collecting in my paint mixing cup, which I know you guys have seen me use in the earlier videos. I'm out of color. Alright, I'll be back in a second to show you how it came out. Alright, I'm back. My hands are wet and I don't want to touch it too much. But there's the end result. The Silly Putty makes a pretty good masking agent. I mean, that line is perfect straight. It took me seconds. I had a teeny bit of orange overspray right there. Other than that, that came out really nice. So I have a few color variations to fix in the final color, base coat of the blue. But when that's done, I just have some detail painting and she's done, and there's not a lot of detail painting. What I have left to fix on the detail painting is I've got to fix this black stripe on the front. The front of the torpedoes on the bottom are supposed to be black. Okay. And I think my hand's dry enough now, I won't leave watermarks on it. These inserts here are supposed to be pink as well as that. And that, I want to dry brush across the top of the letters to bring them out in a different color. Other than that, she's going to be done. Oh yeah, and I want to come through and hit the windows on her with some micron pens, so that the windows show up a little bit better. There aren't many windows on her, and I'm going to go ahead and darken them. I'm not going to pin wash the panel lines. The panel lines show up well enough as it is. The pre-shading did its job. And I like the color variations in the final coat, so I'm leaving them. So I'm just going to fix my watermarks on her, and she's going to be done with the base color. Okay? So I'm going to have this done, a couple of more hours worth of work, and she's completely done. I'm going to let this cure for 8 to 10 hours before I touch it any further. I don't want to damage what's there with soft paint. So I'll be back when I'm hitting it with the brush paints, because the rest of it's brush painting, other than fixing the few marks in the color coat that aren't even, like right in here and right in here. Most of it's in the back, and somehow I missed all in the back, like there's a tide mark right there that I want to get rid of. And yeah, right in here there's too much color variation in there. So I will be back in a little bit. Oh yeah, and right there, the watermarks where the water's not dry, and they go away as the water dries. We'll see. I'll be back in a little bit, let you see what I'm doing next. If there's one thing, it's another. I thought I would be done with airbrushing on Dessloks tonight and just have some brush painting to do. And well, when I peeled the tape off that I put around the front so I could black paint this, tore all that up. I can fix that, it's just not going to be fun to do. Here, let's zoom so you guys can see it. Yeah, I can fix that, it's just not going to be real fun to do. The paint isn't incredibly thick, it isn't on heavy layers, so that won't be an issue. Just some real light sanding with a high grit sandpaper in a few days, and that paint should have been cured. I put the first blue coat down weeks ago. Not weeks ago, 3 or 4 days ago, and this is Tamiya paints. They dry fairly quickly, so I'm not sure what to do with that. I'll get her taken care of though, have no fear. I've done too much work to let that set me back. Just a little bit of light sanding with like a 1200 grit sandpaper. Mix up my 4th batch of this blue, I should have just mixed a big jar of it and kept it in reserve. And then just lightly hit it. And it'll be fixed. I mean, I can't really feel too much ridginess in that paint. So it's not a thick layer. It'll be good. But she's almost done. I just got to paint the inside of the gun and the inside of these wings and this part of the stand down here. I'm going to let her sit for a day or two before I do that. I'm going to let this paint cure. I'm going to fix that tomorrow night, however. I'm going to let this paint cure up some before I handle her too much. And I just noticed one mistake I made. But I'm going to let her go. I'm not going to spend the time working this anymore. Oh, and I got to paint the front of these black too, but I'm going to do that with a brush. I'll be back later. Alright, I'm here to talk about Desslok's. She's sitting up here. Been doing some detail painting on her. Okay, I sanded that. There's really no ledge or lip on it anymore. So when I hit it with paint, that's going to be pretty invisible. I started painting up the insides of these and the pink areas. That's going to take another couple of coats of paint to get that smoothed out. These came out beautifully in my opinion, and I'm not touching them. If you look closely at them, and let's see if we can get a close look at one of the wings. If it'll focus on the wing instead of the thing behind the wing. Of course not. It does not want to focus where I want it to. There we go. If you start looking at it, the white of the plastic came through in the ridges over the pink. You can definitely see it in person, but it's kind of hard to see on the camera. I'll have to take some photos of it so you can see it. Alright, I'm also working on the nose of the ship. I need to get that completely yellow painted, and then I'm going to put some orange highlights around the outer edges. Alright, I'm using Vallejo paints for that. They're Model Air paints, so they go on pretty thin, so I'm having to put multiple coats in there. That's 2 coats, and it's starting to, the color's starting to show up. Alright, I don't want to rush brush painting. When I'm done with that, I'm going to have some touching up here to do on the blacks and a few other things. Because the blacks on these missiles tips are not good. I'm going to have to take some brush paint and hit that with that. Or I can actually, yeah, I know how to hit that with the airbrush. It'll come out okay. Alright. But anyhow, this one's near done. Very, very near done. Another round of pink. Another round of yellow. I'm about to do that other round of yellow before I go to bed because that looks like that's fairly dried up. Some touching up here and there. She is going to be done. I got to get the micron pens out and hit the windows too. There aren't many windows to hit, fortunately. They're all up in this area. The command bridge. Okay? She's going to be done in time for my contest on Saturday. I'm still trying to decide if I want to dry brush that. That wouldn't be hard to dry brush. The words across the base of the stand. That really wouldn't be hard to dry brush. And I can do that with the black paint. So I'll probably do that. But I'm going to do that after our clear coat. Because I'm noticing something. When I hit these paints, the underlying layers are loosening up because I'm using all the same kind of paint. This pink over this blue, the pink is causing the blue to loosen up. And I don't want that. So, probably clear coat before I do this. I'm going to dull coat this because I like the dull finish. I don't want it glossy. I like how this is coming out. A lot of subtle color variations here and there all over the ship. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want her all one solid color. Alright, gonna get going on the paint job on this. I will be back later with her. Alright, I'm here to talk about Desslok's Command Cruiser. This is the final video segment on her. And I'm gonna put the camera down there because you don't want to see me, you want to see that. Maybe some of you want to see me, but most of you want to see that. Okay, like I know Nelly would like to see me. I had to throw that in there, didn't I? So getting into this, alright, a couple of things that went wrong. First off, the clear coat I put on her. It's a matte finish. It is, I want to say, a Krylon product. And I don't know if you can see it in the reflection of the light. If I zoom in more, you'll be able to see it a lot better. The surface is no longer flat. That surface was flat. That paint went on really strange. It's rattle can paint. So that doesn't surprise me. Okay? A couple other things that didn't go the way I wanted them to. Command bridge. I wanted to put color in the windows on her with micron pens? I didn't. Here's why I didn't. The clear coat is a Krylon. It's an enamel, okay? And that enamel would thin with enamel thinners. Micron pens thin with enamel thinners. So if I made a mistake with a micron pen, I couldn't clean it off. So I would have to clear coat this with some Future, put the micron pens in, then come back and hit it with the enamel. Not enamel. Gosh, what am I thinking? I'd have to hit it again with the Krylon flat paint. I didn't want to do that. I could do this with oil paints, and I may still come in and hit these windows with oil paints, because that's real simple to do. The oil paints won't react with the enamels too well, and I can just wipe it off if I don't like it. And it'd be really easy to hit that with enamel. I mean with an oil paint. Just get some black oil paint and color in the windows. Alright? I really do like how she came out for the most part. The pre-shading, this was an experiment in pre-shading. This is the first model I've really done it. Well, this is second. The first one was Mothra, and I did that really quick. This was the second. This is the biggest model I've done pre-shading on. I really think the pre-shading came out fairly well on this thing. I really do. Okay? And the flat paint really helped bring out some of the colors variations in this. You can see I didn't get it right in some places. Again, this was an experiment. This is my first real large scale to do it with. You can see I didn't quite get the seam done back here, but again, this was also an experiment in seam filling. See, I had a paint run right here. Okay, a little bit of light sanding will fix that. Alright. Now, at the model show, in my local hobby shop, I did have a whole bunch of people come in and ask me how I got the shading on this thing just the way I did. Well, most of you watched the video. If you didn't, go back and watch it again where I put the panel lines on and then I hit it with pre-shading. I mean, slowly built up the color after I did the pre-shading of the panel lines. Okay, and I think that came out nice. Now, another problem, alright, and I'll admit, this is the second take on this video. The first take, I said something no. But anyhow, down here, this is pink. It's Tamiya paint. Then I put the clear coat over it, which is enamel based, and then I was going to come in with some more Tamiya paint and the blue and highlight the grid pattern in here to make it stand out better. Okay, and I put the Tamiya paint on there and it ate right through the enamel clear coat and it had me mystified for a little while. I thought it was the alcohol I was using to clean off the Tamiya paint. It wasn't the alcohol. It's the fact that Tamiya paint is got some lacquer thinner in it, and that lacquer thinner ate through the enamel. This is why you don't put lacquer over enamels. You can put lacquer over acrylics, but you can't put it over enamels because the lacquer thinner will eat the enamel. Alright? So it damaged that. I can fix that. I'm going to hit it with some light pink paint. It'll still have a rough surface to it. I might sand it a teeny bit beforehand. Okay? This was an experiment. I hit it, the name plaque here was an experiment. I hit it lightly with the airbrush at an angle to try to bring out those letters some. It brought them out, but it didn't look quite right. Again, it was an experiment. Another experiment was the main gun. Okay? If I can get the lighting just right on this main gun, you can see she's white in the center and she fades to red around the edges. Alright, now I've watched a bunch of General Splatten's figure painting videos, and I tried some of the techniques he shows in there from blending colors, and I think it came out okay. I'll be honest with you guys, I spent about 2 hours painting that because I didn't know what I was doing at first, and after a little while I got more and more comfortable with it, and I really think it came out good. If you see it in the right lighting, you can see it's white in the center, yellow on the edges, and then turns to orange and a little bit of red. And that's exactly what I was trying for. I had my paints too thin the first time. I didn't have them thin enough the second time. And again, it took a little bit of practice, but I think it came out okay. I think with more practice, it'll come out better. All in all, I'm happy with her. I'm happy with the way she came out. There was a lot of experimenting done on her, and the experiments went the way I'd like, so I can't complain. Okay, would I build another one? Yes, I will. I've got 5 or 6 more of the Star Blazers models in the back. I've got the Andromeda, the 1/500 scale Argo, the 1/1000 scale Argo. This is 1/8000 scale. I think this thing is huge. Okay. And I have a whole bunch of patrol ships and other things to build. So another one will get built one day. It wasn't that bad of a model. It just had some bad seams. But that's because it's a 70s model. Those old models, they have bad seams, as I'm learning to find. Anyhow, I'm going to quit rambling. I need to get to bed. I got a 12-hour day at work tomorrow. So I'm going to get off here and go hit some sleep. And I hope you liked her. She was a fun build. She's going to go sit on the shelf until I get out the oil paints or something. Then I'll remember to get her out and touch her up. And highlight a few of the windows and stuff with them. But until that time, she's done. And I may not do it. I may just put her on the shelf and leave her that way. I'll talk to you guys later. Up next is Super Zinger, Mercury 9, Millennium Falcon. You guys are seeing those videos, so you know. Talk to you later.
Not for you. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
That's it.
I'm not for you.
Do you know the whole song? She knows the whole song, not the words though. So yes, she knows the song, just not the words. She does. So now she's making up words for the song.